The repair beacon's harsh buzz jolted engineer Kira Patel awake from her doze at Deep Space Repair Station 47's monitoring console. She blinked, pushing aside her half-finished cup of synthetic coffee, and focused on the emergency signal. Something about it seemed off. The frequency was like nothing she'd seen in her 6 years at the station. "Control, are you seeing this?" she called out, fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "The signal pattern doesn't match any known human vessels." Station Director Harrison's voice crackled over the comm. "Confirmed, Engineer Patel. We're picking up some very unusual energy signatures. Could be first contact scenario." Kira's heart raced. First contact, out here in the Kuiper Belt Repair Station. She quickly ran through the first contact protocols that had become mandatory training after humanity's expansion into deep space. The vessel emerged from the darkness like a crystalline flower blooming in zero gravity. Its hull seemed to shimmer with an internal light, organic curves a stark contrast to the utilitarian angles of human spacecraft. But even Kira's untrained eye could see something was wrong. The ship's graceful form was marred by violent oscillations, its drive system flickering erratically. "Beautiful," Kira breathed, before snapping back to professional mode. "Control, requesting permission to extend docking invitation. That ship's in trouble." "Granted. But Patel, careful. We've never seen this species before." Kira transmitted the universal docking request signal, supplementing it with simple mathematical sequences that any spacefaring race should recognize. For several tense minutes, there was no response. Then the alien vessel's external lights pulsed in a matching pattern. They understood. The docking procedure was nerve-wracking. The alien ship's erratic movements made conventional automated systems useless. Kira had to manually guide them in, using the station's emergency tractor beams with surgical precision. When the airlock seals finally engaged with a satisfying thunk, Kira grabbed her diagnostic kit and headed to the docking bay. She wasn't prepared for what waited on the other side. The aliens were tall, willowy creatures that seemed to float rather than walk, their bodies wrapped in what looked like flowing liquid metal. 3 of them waited at the airlock, their elongated heads crowned with softly glowing tendrils that swayed in an unseen breeze. The central figure raised what Kira assumed was an arm, revealing a device that projected a shower of light particles that coalesced into words. "We are the Lumini. Our ship dies. Help, please." Kira straightened her back, conscious that she was humanity's first ambassador to this species. "I'm Engineer Kira Patel. I'll do everything I can to help. Can you show me the problem?" The Lumini's tendrils rippled in what she hoped was agreement. The leader, or at least the one with the translator, gestured for her to follow. As they glided through their ship's corridors, Kira was struck by how the entire vessel seemed alive, its walls pulsing with the same ethereal light that emanated from its crew. They reached what had to be engineering, though it looked more like the inside of a giant geode than any engine room Kira had ever seen. Crystal formations sprouted from the walls, interconnected by streams of flowing energy. At the center, a massive crystalline structure flickered weakly, its light stuttering like a failing heartbeat. The Lumini's translator sparkled again. "Core crystal failing. Without it, life support dies. Ship dies. We die." Kira studied the alien technology before her, mind racing. Nothing in her training had prepared her for this. The engineering principles she was seeing defied conventional physics. But lives were at stake. Alien lives, yes, but lives nonetheless. "I'll need to understand how your systems work," she said, already pulling diagnostic tools from her kit. "Can you show me the core crystal's normal operating parameters?" The Lumini's tendrils twisted in what might have been anxiety or hope. Kira couldn't tell yet. But as they began projecting technical data into the air around her, she felt a familiar calm settle over her. Different species, different technology, but in the end, it was still just problem solving. And solving problems was what humans did best. As Kira set up her equipment, she couldn't help but smile. Her grandfather, who'd inspired her to become an engineer, used to say that the universe's greatest mysteries often came disguised as its biggest challenges. Looking at the dying crystal heart of this alien vessel, she had a feeling she was about to prove him right. Station Director Harrison's voice crackled through her comm. Patel, status report, trust in the void. The crystalline core pulsed with a sickly rhythm as Kira studied the holographic readouts floating before her. 6 hours had passed since first contact, and she was beginning to understand why the Lumini were so desperate. Their ship didn't just use the crystal for power. It was integrated into every system, like a central nervous system. These connections here, she pointed to a complex network of light streams. They're degrading faster than the others. Can you explain why? The lead Lumini, whom she'd started calling Azure due to their bluish glow, manipulated their translator. Crystal heart requires harmony. Balance lost when passing through what you call radiation belt. Now cascade failure spreads. Kira frowned. The Oort cloud's radiation shouldn't have caused this level of disruption. Did something else happen? The Lumini's tendrils twisted in what she'd learned was their equivalent of discomfort. After a moment's hesitation, Azure's translator flickered. Truth is, we fled, pursued by those who fear difference, pushed engines beyond safe limits. Refugees, Kira breathed. She looked at the gathered aliens with new understanding. Their ethereal beauty masked a desperate escape from persecution. How long have you been running? Time measured differently for us, but many cycles. First species to offer help, not fear. A warning tone interrupted them as another crystal cluster darkened. The ship's ambient light dimmed noticeably, and the Lumini's own bioluminescence flickered in response. They were running out of time. Kira pulled up the station's database on her tablet. Director Harrison, I need emergency clearance to access the quantum mechanics research files. All of them. Granted, Harrison's voice crackled. But Patel, remember the first contact protocols. We can't share advanced technology. With all due respect, sir, these people are dying. And I think they got more to teach us about advanced technology than the other way around. She turned back to Azure. I have a theory, but you'll need to trust me. Your crystal technology. It operates on quantum entanglement principles, doesn't it? The harmony you mentioned isn't just metaphorical. Azure's tendrils rippled in surprise. Yes, all crystals sing together. Now song fades. Then we need to restart the song. Kira pulled up schematics of the station's quantum communication array. We might be able to use our QCOM system to establish a resonance pattern, like jump-starting a battery. But I'll need to modify it significantly. Dangerous. Azure's translator sparkled. If resonance wrong, both ships could suffer. Welcome to human engineering, Kira grinned. Sometimes the riskiest solution is the only solution. She began rapidly reconfiguring her diagnostic tools, connecting them to her tablet. I'll need to understand exactly how your crystal matrix is structured. Can you show me the baseline harmonic frequencies? The next 2 hours were a crash course in alien quantum physics. The Lumini's understanding of subatomic particles made Earth's most advanced theories look primitive. But they lacked something humans had in abundance: the ability to improvise, to jury-rig solutions from imperfect parts. Your species, Azure observed while helping Kira modify a resonance scanner, thrives in chaos. We saw your repair station, expected rigid protocols. Instead find adaptation. That's because humans evolved on a death world, Kira explained, carefully adjusting a crystal alignment. Earth throws everything at us. Earthquakes, storms, predators. We either adapt or die. Speaking of which, she held up her modified scanner. A mess of human and Lumini technology held together with engineering ingenuity, and, if she was honest, a fair bit of hope. This should let us map the quantum frequency patterns of your core crystal. Then we can. Another warning tone cut through the ship, louder this time. Multiple crystal clusters went dark simultaneously. The Lumini swayed in distress, their glow dimming dangerously. Life support failing. Azure's translator sputtered. Minutes remain. Kira's heart raced. Her solution wasn't ready, wasn't tested, but they were out of time. Everyone into environmental suits, she ordered, already sealing her own helmet. If this goes wrong, we'll need them. She looked at Azure. I'm going to try something incredibly stupid and possibly brilliant. Do I have your permission? The alien's tendrils weaved a complex pattern before the translator sparked. Trust given. Save my people, human engineer. Kira nodded, connecting her cobbled-together device directly to the core crystal. Director Harrison, if this works, it's going to put on one hell of a light show. If it doesn't, send my cat to my sister. Before anyone could respond, she initiated the quantum resonance sequence. The core crystal flared blindingly bright, and for one terrifying moment, everything went silent. Breaking physical laws. The song of the crystals wasn't metaphorical. Actual harmonics rippled through the ship's structure, a symphony of quantum frequencies that made Kira's teeth vibrate inside her helmet. The core crystal pulsed with renewed energy, but something wasn't right. The resonance patterns were growing chaotic, threatening to spiral out of control. Containment field at 180% of rated capacity, Kira's tablet warned. The ship's walls began to shimmer with excess energy, crystal formations humming at frequencies that made her diagnostic equipment scream in protest. Too much power. Azure's translator flickered frantically. Core cannot channel such force. Kira's fingers flew across her interface. The quantum resonance is working, but we need to stabilize it. Your crystals, they respond to consciousness, don't they? That's why your species is naturally bioluminescent. Azure's tendrils flared in confirmation. We guide ship through thought harmony, but too weak now. Then we need to think bigger. Kira switched to station comms. Director Harrison, emergency request. I need every human on this station to link into the quantum comm network. Now. Patel, that's completely against the protocols, yes I know. But these crystals respond to conscious thought. The Lumini are too weak to stabilize the resonance alone. But if we add human consciousness to the quantum matrix, a moment of silence. Then, patching all station personnel into your network. God help us all. The effect was immediate. As 30 human minds joined the quantum resonance field, the chaotic energies began to shift. The Lumini's tendrils waved in perfect synchronization, their collective consciousness merging with the human thoughts flowing through the modified QCOM system. Kira felt it in her mind. Alien consciousness meeting human willpower. Images flashed through her awareness. The Lumini's homeworld, a planet of living crystal. Their peaceful exploration of space. The fear and hatred they encountered from other species who saw their different biology as a threat. Everyone, focus, she called out through the network. Picture the crystal frequencies aligning, like tuning instruments in an orchestra. The ship's crystal matrix responded to the combined mental effort. Energy patterns that had been spiraling into disaster began to stabilize. The core crystal's light steadied, its pulse strengthening into a healthy rhythm. But they weren't done yet. Warning indicators still flashed across Kira's tablet. The quantum harmonics needed to be balanced across all systems, or they risked burning out the delicate crystal matrices. Azure, Kira called out, her voice strained with effort. I need your people to guide us. Show us how to direct the energy. The Lumini's consciousness flowed through the network, their ancient understanding of crystal technology merging with human determination. Kira felt her mind expanding, grasping concepts that defied conventional physics. The quantum resonance wasn't just affecting the ship's systems, it was changing everyone connected to it. Life support crystals responding. Azure's translator sparkled with renewed strength, hull integrity stabilizing. The song returns to harmony. The next few minutes were a blur of coordinated consciousness as humans and Lumini worked together to restore each ship system. When the last crystal cluster hummed with healthy light, Kira finally allowed herself to breathe. Power levels nominal, her tablet reported. Quantum resonance pattern stable. Crystal matrix integrity at 94% and rising. She looked around the engine room, now bathed in the soft, steady glow of healthy crystals. The Lumini's own bioluminescence had returned to full strength, their tendrils swaying in what she now recognized as joy. Never, Azure's translator sparkled, in all our travels, have we encountered beings who could join our consciousness this way. Your species' adaptability. Remarkable. Kira disconnected her equipment with shaking hands. Well, you know us Deathworlders. We see a problem. We solve it, even if we have to break a few laws of physics along the way. More than physics broken today, Azure responded. Barriers between species, between minds, between possible and impossible. Director Harrison's voice came through the comm, sounding distinctly unsettled. Patel, we're getting some very strange readings from the quantum network. The connection. It's not entirely dissipating. Kira looked at her tablet's readings, then at the Lumini. No, sir, it's not. I think we just invented an entirely new form of communication, and possibly revolutionized our understanding of consciousness itself. Azure's tendrils wove a pattern she'd never seen before. The universe, the translator sparkled, will not be the same after this day. Looking at the data streaming across her screen, human and Lumini consciousness intertwined through quantum mechanics, Kira had to agree. They'd set out to save a ship and ended up opening a door that could never be closed. And somewhere in the quantum harmonics still humming through her mind, she heard the universe laughing at the sheer audacity of it all. Cultural exchange under pressure. The days following the quantum resonance event transformed Deep Space Repair Station 47 into an unprecedented laboratory of human-alien cooperation. Kira found herself at the center of it all, her mind still humming with echoes of the crystal song. The residual quantum connection. She explained to the hastily assembled team of xenoscientists who'd arrived from Earth, it's like having an extra sense. We can't read each other's thoughts exactly, but there's awareness. She demonstrated by closing her eyes. Without looking, she pointed to where Azure had just entered the conference room. They're excited about something. A discovery in Lab 3, I think. Azure's tendrils rippled in confirmation. Human crystallography team made breakthrough, understanding growth patterns of ship heart, but more importantly, understanding us. The lead xenoscientist, Dr. Ramesh, leaned forward. The implications are staggering. A permanent quantum entanglement between human and alien consciousness, even if partial. It's more than that. Kira interrupted, feeling the pulse of Azure's thoughts. The Lumini aren't just teaching us about crystal technology. We're teaching them too. About adaptation, about using chaos creatively. Indeed, the Lumini had begun experimenting with human-inspired modifications to their systems. Their once rigid crystal patterns now incorporated controlled irregularities, making them more resistant to disruption. They called it human chaos harmony, with a mixture of awe and amusement. But not everyone was thrilled about these developments. Kira's tablet buzzed with another urgent message from Earth Command, demanding risk assessments and containment protocols. The politicians and military leaders were nervous about the unprecedented level of technological and psychological exchange. They fear what they don't understand, Azure observed, sensing Kira's frustration through their link. Like those who pursued us, fear of difference remains constant across galaxies. Maybe, Kira replied, but so does the capacity for change. She pulled up the latest data from their joint experiments. Look at these results. The quantum resonance patterns we created, they could revolutionize everything from communication to energy production. And they only work because of our differences, not in spite of them. Director Harrison, who'd been unusually quiet since the incident, finally spoke up. Command's concerns aren't entirely unfounded. We're moving into unknown territory here. The entire station's crew is now quantum-linked with an alien species. The security implications alone are exactly why we need to continue, Kira finished. The Lumini were running from persecution because their crystalline biology scared people. Now we have a chance to show the galaxy a better way. Unity through diversity. Isn't that what humanity's been preaching since we reached the stars? As if to emphasize her point, a soft chime emanated from the station's speakers, crystals singing in harmony with the station's power systems. The Lumini engineers had begun integrating crystal nodes into the station's infrastructure, creating a hybrid technology that was neither purely human nor purely alien. Besides, Kira added with a grin, trying to stop this would be like trying to unring a bell. The quantum connection is stable. We're all part of something bigger now. Azure's tendrils formed a pattern Kira now recognized as their equivalent of laughter. Humans, always making simple things complicated and impossible things simple. Dr. Ramesh shook his head in amazement. A week ago, we were a lonely species in a vast galaxy. Now we're quantum-linked with beings who rewrite physics as we know it. The possibilities are exactly what we need to focus on, Kira said, standing. We can either hide from this breakthrough or embrace it. And I don't know about you, but I didn't become an engineer to play it safe. The quantum hum in her mind strengthened as other crew members and Lumini joined the discussion, their merged consciousness creating patterns of thought that neither species could achieve alone. They were writing a new chapter in the story of intelligent life, one quantum resonance at a time. And somewhere in that crystalline symphony, Kira heard the first notes of a future she'd never dared to imagine. Legacy of the Deathworlder, final part. 1 month after the quantum resonance event, Deep Space Repair Station 47 had become unrecognizable. Crystal formations grew alongside traditional human technology, creating an architectural hybrid that reflected the unprecedented partnership blooming within its walls. Kira stood at the newly installed crystal-enhanced observation deck, watching a fleet of approaching ships through the quantum-linked viewing field. The vessels represented a dozen different species. Word had spread about the human Lumini breakthrough. They come seeking understanding. Azure commented, their consciousness brushing against Kira's through their permanent link. Some with fear, some with hope, all with questions. Let them come, Kira replied, checking the latest modifications to the station's crystal matrix. Fear only lasts until understanding begins. The station had become a symbol of possibility, proof that different species could do more than just coexist. They could evolve together. The quantum link that Kira had desperately forged to save the Lumini ship had sparked a revolution in interspecies relations. Director Harrison joined them at the viewport, his own mind humming with the crystal song that now connected all station personnel. Earth Command finally stopped sending panic-stricken directives, he announced. The success of our hybrid technologies was persuasive. Indeed, the fusion of human innovation and Lumini crystal mastery had yielded unprecedented advances. Quantum-enhanced communications, crystal-based medical treatments, even the beginnings of consciousness-driven spacecraft designs. Each discovery proved that diversity wasn't just beneficial, it was essential for advancement. The hunters who pursued us. Azure's translator sparkled. They believed purity was strength. Now they see true strength lies in harmony of difference. Kira nodded, remembering the images she'd seen in the Lumini's memories during that first desperate connection. They feared you because you were different. Now they're learning that different isn't dangerous. It's valuable. The observation deck hummed with crystal song as more ships approached the station. Through the quantum link, Kira felt the curiosity and cautious optimism of dozens of species. Each brought their own unique perspective, their own potential contributions to the growing symphony of unified consciousness. You know, Kira mused, when I took this posting, I thought I'd be fixing broken engines and patching hull breaches. Instead, you fixed broken barriers between species. Azure finished. Patched breaches in understanding. Director Harrison chuckled. Leave it to a human engineer to look at an alien quantum crystal matrix and think, I can work with this. The three of them watched as the first of the new arrivals began docking procedures. Through the quantum network, they felt the ripples of excitement and apprehension from both visitors and station crew. Each new contact was another opportunity to expand the harmony, to prove that the galaxy was big enough for all kinds of consciousness. We should thank those who pursued us. Azure observed unexpectedly. Their fear drove us here, to this moment, to this possibility. Kira smiled. That's a very human way of looking at it, finding the positive in chaos. Perhaps. Azure's tendrils wave thoughtfully. We are all learning from each other. Humans teach adaptation. Lumini teach harmony, and together we're writing a new chapter in the story of intelligent life. Kira finished. She felt the quantum resonance strengthen as more minds joined the network, each adding their own unique note to the universal symphony. The crystal formations throughout the station pulsed with combined human and Lumini consciousness, their light a testament to what could be achieved when fear gave way to curiosity, when difference was seen as strength rather than threat. Ready to greet our new arrivals? Director Harrison asked, already knowing the answer through the link. Kira straightened her engineer's uniform, now adorned with crystal accents that marked her role in bridging worlds. Always ready. After all, someone has to show them that the impossible is just another engineering challenge waiting to be solved. As they headed to the docking bay, the crystal song swelled with possibility. The legacy of a human engineer's desperate gamble had become a beacon of hope, proving that even in the coldest depths of space, connection could bloom. And in the quantum harmonics that now linked disparate species across the stars, the universe itself seemed to whisper, "This is only the beginning."